Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Vegas Golden Knights franchise mode series right here on NHL 19. And today, we continue onward with our fourth season at the helm of the Golden Knights. But things haven't exactly gone as planned. Of course, at the end of the third year, we lose in the first round again. We make that decision to start to rebuild, and that began in the last episode. But we didn't go through... Actually, that began the episode before that. But still, we didn't go through with it entirely. Guys like Panarin, Carlson, Yossi, Hamilton, they're all still here. And the decision was whether or not we look to move on from them at this point. Whether or not we still look to explore these trade options, because as you saw as we first started up this episode, we have a fairly good record. So I left it up to you guys in the comments, and there's a little bit more support, I'd say, for just staying the course for now and seeing how this continues onward. So that is what we are going to do. We'll definitely be keeping a keen eye on the team heading towards the deadline. Still a decent chance that guys like Panarin, Carlson, Yossi, and Hamilton end up getting dealt to begin with. As far as the roster is concerned now, there was the topic of discussion too, whether or not we look to call up guys like Robertson, Mateos, Dylan Dubé, and maybe even a Jones or a Henry. I'm going to hold off for the moment, just because I know that there are some people who are on board with the thought of, well, guys like Larson and Glendening, they're veterans. Their poise rating might not be great, but they're veterans. So we've been winning with this team. I think we'll keep it the same for the moment. We'll continue to keep an eye, as I said, on how we are doing this season, of course, and we'll make those changes accordingly. If things really start to go downhill, if we start to slip up, we'll take it from there. Of course, this upcoming draft is looking very promising in terms of the top 5, at the very least. We already have quite a few draft picks to work with after moving on from guys like Marchessault, Riley Smith, Marc-Andre Fleury. We'll actually take a quick look at the draft class since we have the update here. And of course, Russell Claesson is the top player with that Mario Lemieux comparison, which, will he be the face of Austrian hockey and the Vegas Golden Knights down the road? We shall see. For now, though, we focus on this season, which, funny enough, we're undefeated to begin this month through 3 games. We finally pick up a loss against New Jersey. If we are successful by the time the deadline comes around, that's going to put us into a very weird and difficult spot. We're already in a weird and difficult spot. It would be nice in a way if an offer were to come through from a Yossi or a Panarin. Of course, the argument, too, for staying the course and keeping the team as is that if we have these guys at the draft, that gives us many more options, especially because we'll know exactly what pick we'd be trading for. So, quite a few ways to handle this. That's why I ask you guys at the end of every episode your opinion. And like I said, there was that little bit more support, I'd say, for staying the course for now and just seeing how it goes. Which, again, funny enough, we are still winning the vast majority of our games. We only lost, I think, 3 games throughout December, so Happy New Year. 24, 6, and 7. Let's keep going, I suppose. This is going to be super weird if we end up making the playoffs for the 4th year in a row, which right now that's looking very likely. I do have to wonder, though, how the guys on the 4th line are doing, as we do lose 2 in a row. Nick Hague was banged up a little bit, but he is back to 100%. I was hoping the Chicago Wolves would be a little bit better, and Tate Dwyer goes down to injury. That is unfortunate. He's going to be out for the rest of this month, essentially. So Brandon Dubinsky will slot in. This is such a weird team right now, man. It really is. I'm going to go ahead and go through with that change of having Theodore, Yossi, Hague, Hamilton, Bronnstrom, and Wu. And then forward-wise, I guess Matthias, Dubinsky, Glendening. Even though Glendening's really good on draws, I think Dubinsky is as well. Yeah, he is. He's a little bit better defensively. Well, the stick checking for Dubinsky really slipped up. It's fine, though. We'll go Larson, Eek, and Carpenter. Let's go with... Wow, I put Suzuki up on the top line, huh? Interesting. Let's go with that. Panarin, Carlson, Suzuki, Tuck, Glass, and Roach. I think that's fine. How's Robin Leonard doing? A 923. At the very least, we are helping Robin Leonard potentially revitalize his career, as opposed to just sitting there and rotting on the free agent list for whatever reason, as Cody Eakin goes down to injury. Now, he's not going to be out for long, but still, that kind of sucks. I am going to have to call up somebody or not. You know what? Let's go best lines. It'll put in Braden Coburn on the third line. Why the hell not? Defensively, leave it as is. We'll fix it once we're back to 100%. I think he's going to be back. He might be back before that Calgary game. So we've lost 3 out of our last 4. Not surprising that we slipped up. Jake Lesisham was hurt. He's back to 100%. Will Eakin be back for the Calgary game? He's not, and Gregory Roach is hurt. So Eakin's back, but now Roach goes to the injured list. This is rough. Let's just keep this crackpot lineup together for the moment. Did we somehow beat Calgary? No, we didn't. Thank God. I would have seriously had to have questioned the Flames if they lost to us with our lineup in the shape that it's in. Perhaps this would be viewed as a little bit of sabotage by not replacing Coburn, but in fairness, we were losing before that. And this month has been very unkind to us thus far. Any wiggle room that we built up throughout December has been absolutely lost in January. How bad has Braden Coburn been? He's a plus player. So you can't even blame that necessarily. It's just this game does what it wants. This game does what it wants. That works for me. We'll leave the team as is until we're at least back to 100%. We do get a trade offer for Cody Eakin. Eakin in a 6th for a 4th. It's worth us keeping Cody Eakin again, at least for this season. I'd rather have him hang around than get a 4th rounder for him. You know, having to give up a 6th round pick too, no thanks. At best, we might be able to get like a 5th. He's worth it to keep. As we have 2 games left this month, we split those. So a very rough run of form in January, but we're still at 28-14-8 on the season. Tate Dwyer is back, and the Chicago Wolves have also picked up a little bit of momentum. So we are a month away from deadline day. We are currently in first place in the division, because of course we are. Let's see. So Matthias, 5 points, a minus players, 7 points for... in fairness, Brendan Dubinsky's been pretty good. Glendening hasn't done much. Okay, here's the test, right? If we call up some of our younger guys to give them time, how are they going to do? Robertson's ready. Mateos, Dubé. Dubé would be the only one affected by waivers. Let's do this. Let's call up this trio. We will be sending down Glendening, Matthias, and Dubinsky, and then Larson will still be here as the insurance policy, so to speak. I can't imagine that any of the 3 would have been claimed, but maybe, just because of the success that they've had. So let's take a look here. So good. Actually, no, wait, in fairness, it scratches Dylan Dubé. Larson, sorry, you're having a half-decent season in terms of regaining your overall, but we are going to play Dylan Dubé. He made the Flames roster out of camp. He's good enough for me at this point. We picked him up for dirt cheap. So that is the question as far as who plays where. And if we want that unit to just be the 4th line, which, you know, isn't the worst idea. That was Dubé. Dubé is more physical than I thought he would have been. He's more like Carrier-like than I really thought he would have been, which makes me wonder if we have Dubé, Eakin, and Carpenter, essentially have Dylan Dubé replacing William Carrier. That might work out very well for us. So then Robertson, Stelio, and Tuck. How good Stelio on draws? 76, that's not bad. Yeah, you know, I think that works. Although, is Dwyer a first liner? He's not. Interesting. What if we drop Dwyer? Roach, 8 goals, 17 assists. Oh yeah, I think we'll... Actually, how good is Roach? Still got that low elite. You know what? I'm going to put Roach. Have Roach be carried by Panarin and Carlson. Have the second line be Dwyer, Glass, Suzuki. That's badass. And then Robertson, Mateos, and Tuck. That's not terrible for a team that managed to get rid of quite a few solid options. We're not in that bad of a spot still, which is pretty nice. And of course, we just have Vladar sitting there. So down in the AHL, let's just double check this. Like Elvin S, we know It's not looking that good potential-wise. We'll bring in Nold, who's up to a 66. So some people were thinking he might still develop at this point. Probably not. It looks like my hunch of just getting rid of him would have been the right way to go. We kept him, though. Some people wanted to see if he'd still develop. Whether or not he survives the next batch of trades, we shall see, because we might have to make the most of that. Again, I don't necessarily like trading away players where it's like, okay, they're definitely going to be terrible. Let's ditch them and just dump them onto the AI teams. Occasionally, we'll have to do it out of necessity. Kostitsyn needs to get into the lineup here. Here's the other one. Right? Yeah, Kostitsyn's the only one. Scooter Vaughn, man. Bravo. Who the hell's going to take the seat for Kostitsyn? Jake Lasician, apparently. High AHL top 6. Is there anybody else who's worse? Unless we scratch one of the veterans, but I kind of want to leave them in. And then Ben Jones has progressed pretty well. Let's take out Luke Glendening. Luke, I'm sorry, buddy, but we need to get Kostitsyn into the lineup. Of course, we picked him up from Colorado. And then as far as this team is concerned, we'll put... let's put put Henry there. I do want to optimize this as best I can. Let's see, is Gerard a center at all? Not really. 63. Nold at a 61. Steos at a 63. Henry's a center, isn't he? 75. There we go. And Bembridge. All right, cool. We'll just sort it out by overall from this point. So let's have, in fairness, let's see. So Jones, decent center for Kostitsyn. Basically the only ones who cannot take face-offs. Everybody can take face-offs. Sweet. So Henry, just because you're a little bit more important. Ruzicka there. Matthias and Milos Roman. Lasician and Kostitsyn. Works for me. And then defensively, Robin Salo. You need to take a seat, buddy, for nobody. Congratulations. You get to stay. And Yanni Kapainen's still there. Okay, so the roster is good to go. We've called up that trio of younger players. And we'll see what effect, if any, that has on the roster moving forward and progressing closer to the deadline. We're going to take this 2 weeks at a time, and we'll see how this goes. We'll also double check back at what draft picks we have and where those teams are currently situated in the standings. As we do get an offer for Dougie Hamilton. Haynes, a first, and Alexiev. For Hamilton and a third. Now, Haynes was on Washington's trade block, as was Alexiev earlier on. 71 overall, 20 years old, medium top 6. It's not bad. Former 15th pick. And then Alexiev, we have no idea. He's 22, playing in the AHL, which is a little bit scary. I'm pretty sure you didn't give him a great potential. We're going to hold off on that for the moment. Because at this rate, because we elected to hold on to these players, it's not necessarily worth getting rid of a Hamilton now. We might as well just keep them and see what the hell happens in the playoffs, and then look to deal them at the draft afterwards. There's no point in deciding, oh, well, we kept our players, but we're still going to move them at the deadline because we're slipping. You know, we might as well at least give us a chance in the playoffs if we're not going to have a lottery pick anyway. As we're at 30, 16-9, just beat St. Louis 7-6. All right, let's go to the 20th. We'll sim the next 3 games. Vancouver, Colorado, and Detroit. The Canucks, is something happening here? Maybe not. 3-0 win. At the very least, Colorado, we have nearly identical records. They get the win in overtime. And Detroit, it's a 4-3 shootout win. So 32 wins on the year. We are still in first place in the division by a decent gap as well. What the hell, man? What the hell? Okay, so Robin Leonard. Save percentage is dipped. Malcolm Subban's been a phenomenal backup yet again, so I'm kind of glad that we kept him. Defensively, Theodore having an okay season. Yossi's doing very well point total-wise. Haig's been solid. Dougie's killing it point total-wise. I always forget Dougie Hamilton's 6'6". It's fucking crazy. Bronstrom, 13 assists. Jet Wu has been okay. So, I mean, our defense is hanging in there. And then offensively, let's take a look at the fourth line first. So, Dylan Dubé, no points in a -3 in 8 games. Can't really say he's any more detrimental than what we had. Cody Eakin, 15 points on the year. And Carpenter has 12 goals. I don't get it. Ryan Carpenter's amazing. Alex Tuck. I was hoping you'd develop, Alex, because I really like you in real life. I really do. Alex Tuck really won me over last year with what he did with Vegas, but damn. Stelio has 4 points in 8 games. That's not bad. And Robertson has 5 points. Okay. Is Tuck on an expiring deal? He's not. So, unfortunately, that experiment may be coming to an end at the end of the season. Suzuki up to 34 points. Cody Glass hasn't exactly lit the world on fire. Tate Dwyer has 32 goals in 49 games. Jesus. Roach has been all right. Carlson there. My God, I thought Panarin would have had way more goals than he did. Tate Dwyer is driving this team right now. To be honest, I don't know why we're winning as many games as we are. It's somewhat illogical, really. But I guess that's the name of the game sometimes. Right. So we're not going to look to make any moves. Again, we're going to keep the team together and then look to make our moves at the draft at this point. Now, as far as whether or not I plan on buying, not necessarily. Again, we have 5 first-round picks, including Carolina's. The Rangers were looking pretty good, too. Carolina at 25 wins. Ooh, wish we had Minnesota's. The Rangers are at 30 wins. Okay, so not as bad as I would have thought. But those picks are certainly going to be useful in terms of potentially trading up at the draft alongside, being able to use a Dougie, being able to use a Roman Josi in that regard. Again, as far as the expiring deals are concerned, I mean, Robin Leonard's a rental. No reason to ditch him. We could get like a second or a third at best. It's like, nah, we'll keep him for the rest of the year. Dan Vladar, we're not going to get anything for, so we might as well keep him for depth. Defensively, we have Bronstrom on an expiring deal. He'll be brought back. The big concern is Dougie Hamilton, because we don't yet have him re-signed. So obviously guys like Salo will be let go of. Wyatt Wiley might be brought back as an AHL guy. We have guys like Walford, whose deals are going to be expiring. That's the one concern, is that Dougie currently isn't signed beyond this season. But if we ditch him, if we trade him away now, that really hurts our chances, and we're going to be a playoff team this year, barring a brutal collapse. Who else is on it? Wow. We're going to have a lot to handle here. So, Carpenter, Eakin, nothing really there. William Karlsson, also on an expiring contract. Shit. That is unfortunate. Cody Glass, Stelio. Anybody else that we really have to worry about? Jason Robertson, Nick Suzuki, of course, will sign. So William Karlsson and Dougie Hamilton are on expiring contracts. Right. At this point, we're going to be a playoff team. Here's the thing. There's no reason why we couldn't just necessarily re-sign and keep those two, as well as have our draft picks to move and maneuver. Perhaps it may have been better to move, but of course that wasn't the popular vote, so to speak. What is Karlsson looking for? He's willing to sign an extension. Extension dollars remaining, $51 million. Okay, so yeah, we have all the money in the world to re-sign him. And, I mean, he's looking for pretty much a max deal at this point. He's looking for that last big-time contract, which, I'd be willing to give to him. Whether or not we end up moving him and considering it a sign and trade, we shall see. But if he's willing to accept $625 over 8 years, just even if we keep him, that's a solid contract. Let's take a look. How has he done this year again? 49 points in 58 games. I'm not complaining about that. And then Dougie, if I can remember to hit the right trigger here, not looking to re-sign. Right. So we signed him at 6.3 for 1 year. Can we get Dougie Hamilton to commit for one more season at the same price? And that way we have the ability to trade him at the deadline, which admittedly, or at the draft, I should say, which admittedly, yes, is kind of cheap, but like I said, I left those options open as far as what we could look to do. I'm a man of the people. What can I say? Now I'm trying to make the people's decision work out in the best way possible. So Dougie signed and Carlson signed. All right. So that solves that. We have the ability to keep them, or we have the ability to trade them at the draft. I guess we'll cross that bridge now when we come to it. Like I mentioned, this team will be staying the same. Let's go ahead and go over to March 1st. We play Tampa on deadline day. 33 wins on the year. We're pretty much committed to this now. We are going to try and make the playoffs for the 4th year in a row to begin this series, despite trading away everybody that we traded. And we'll see how it goes. And then we're still in a position to do all right. Like, we'll have our draft pick and we'll have the ability to trade up using said draft pick, and we'll still have assets that we can use to trade up. So my thought is almost, is there anybody that we could get for like super cheap? And obviously Hampus Lindholm is not super cheap. Silfverberg would be a decent help, but just no. Jesus, Arizona having a fire sale of all their top prospects right now. I think we're just going to commit to it. We're just going to commit to it. Our roster is our roster. We at least have those extra draft picks to work with on top of our own. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, will we end up trading Artemi Panarin, William Karlsson, and Alex Tuck at the draft alongside Yossi and Hamilton? Maybe. For now, though, they're members of this team. We're going to go forward and see what happens. Our roster's set. We have some depth, although Braden Coburn is in free fall right now. So that doesn't necessarily help. Actually, let me double check, because we still had a roster spot, I think. Let me double check Yield free agent list and see if there's a defenseman that we can sign for the rest of the season. Lindblom, Eric Goodbranson. Let's bring in some grit. Eric Goodbranson. Sign him up for the rest of the year. Just because Braden Coburn, again, has plummeted in terms of overall. So this, again, is certainly not how I expected this season to play out. But the decision was pretty much made in the comments. I mean, again, there was a mixture of keep the team as is, keep some of the aspects of the team as is, and move these other pieces. We kept the team as is, and we continued to win games somehow. Thankfully, though, as Goodbranson accepted, thankfully, though, we're still in a position to make the playoffs, but still have a ton of draft picks. And if we make the playoffs, who the hell knows what's going to happen? It's a complete question mark. So, it's nice in that we have those 4 extra draft picks to potentially make a move. And make no mistake about it, we have the assets, even if we have to give up way more than what is reasonable. Russell Clausen, we might not have to trade up, but Russell Clausen will more than likely be a member of this team. More than likely. I don't really see a situation where that wouldn't be the case. We might have to use a Hamilton or a Roman Yossi and draft picks to do it. That's pretty likely. But we'll be able to get the job done in there in that regard. 38, 24, and 11. Got about 2.5 to 3 weeks left in the season. Still in first place, 4 points above Edmonton, with the game at hand. We are in control of our own destiny here down the stretch. Imagine, after trading the Marchessaults, the Riley Smiths, the Marc-Andre Fleury's, Braden McNabb, Colin Miller, imagine if we still make the playoffs. Which, again, right now is looking likely, although we immediately went on to lose 3 straight games. Will we make it 4 against Minnesota? We won't, but Robin Lehner's hurt. And we'll miss the start of the playoffs. Because of course he will. The good thing is, the last time we checked on Malcolm Subban, he was looking pretty good. Is that still the case? It is. Subban's been lights out in terms of his play. But an injury to Robin Lehner. We have 5 games left this season. Where are we in the standings after that slide? Still in first, 1 point ahead of Los Angeles with 5 games to go. We're in an absolutely brutal Pacific Division, and it's paying off for us. Let's sim the next 2 games, Nashville and Winnipeg. Can we get the win against the Preds? We cannot. It's a 4-1 loss. It's a 5-2 win, though, against Nashville. So Anaheim, Vancouver, and Dallas are up next. We've hit 40 wins on the year. I doubt we're still in first. There's an outside chance, and indeed we're not. So LA has jumped us, but they've played an extra game. They've also clinched a playoff spot. So we have a chance here. Anaheim also fighting for their playoff lives, although it's looking very unlikely. They have to win basically all of their remaining games. So we could jump into first in the division and eliminate the Anaheim Ducks with a victory here at home. Can we do so? Yes, we can. So Anaheim is out. We end their hopes and dreams. We should be back in first place. Let's continue to keep an eye on the standings. I know I don't have to jump into the calendar, but I want to. Let me take a look. LA slipped. LA slipped up. If we win here, if we beat Vancouver or Dallas, the division title is ours. Period. One more win, and we take home the division title. Can we clinch it against Vancouver? Yes, we can. 6-3 final in Game 81. The Vegas Golden Knights have won the Pacific Division title in Season 4. What a joke. Like, we're not that bad of a team. But damn, man. Damn. This team was good enough to make it. Not to mention it was a little bit weaker on paper with some of the other guys we had in the lineup before. That is tremendous. Malcolm Subban will be leading us into the playoffs. Dan Vladar is the backup. Crazy. Let's go ahead and sim beyond this last game against Dallas. We'll get the full season recap and everything. We'll take a look at the team around the league. But that is tremendous. We'll finish with 42 or 43 wins. 42, 29, and 11 is the final record here at the end of the season. The end of season record is what I was going to say. 95 points, 11 OTLs. That is the reason why we won this division title. Make no mistake. Let's take a look at this ridiculousness. 42, 29, and 11. Good for 95 points. We were the 5th best team in the Western Conference, but won the division title. Were we even a top 10 team? We finished outside of the top 10 and won a division title. Oh, it's phenomenal. Tampa and Dallas both with 119 points each. Jesus. Who finished in the basement, though? Minnesota. Okay. I know we had Carolina's pick. Who else's picks did we have? Let me check that. What other draft picks did we have? If we go to the draft board, we should be able to see. Projected picks. So we have Winnipeg's, Carolina, Dallas. Oh, God, so we have Dallas's. That didn't help. New York. Okay, so New York, Carolina, and Winnipeg. We already know Dallas is great. We also have Minnesota's second, which will be the top pick of the second round, so that might as well be another first-round pick. So again, Winnipeg, Carolina, and New York. We might not have that many chances at a high lottery pick, but still, extra draft picks coming out of or what we thought was going to be a rebuild isn't the worst way to go. So Winnipeg finished 6th in the league, so that's another high draft pick. Let's take a look, though. God, I wish you were the Rangers. So again, Carolina's down there. Where did the Rangers finish? Outside of a playoff spot. Okay, so we had the Carolina pick and the New York pick. That's not terrible. It's not outside of the question that we'll finish with the top 3 pick. And you talk about using that top 3 pick along with other assets to get the number 1 overall. That is very much a possibility. Very much so. Let's see. Goals for around the league. I doubt we were up there. Mid-table, somewhere. Where were we? Towards the bottom. 271 per game. Goals against. Not bad. Bottom 10. So good goaltending and good defense. Our power play was at 17.6%, which was bottom 10 in the league. Our penalty kill at 82.9%. Top 10. So we're going to need to address the power play setup And actually, let me double check the Chicago Wolves here, but we will have to adjust our power play setup heading in to this postseason matchup. Chicago, yeah, you're not going to make it. You had a decent season, but you're not going to make it. It looked good, and they really started to slip up once we dropped guys like Glendening, although granted he wasn't in the lineup. Artemi Panarin led our team in points, 68 points in a full 82-game season. Dwyer, 43 goals, missed 9 games this year. He probably would have hit 70 points and been our team's leading scorer. It's not bad. Carlson, 62 points. Of course, we just signed him to a max contract at 29 years old, so it's a little bit rough, but hey, we're probably not going to have to deal with it. Dougie Hamilton with a spectacular 55 points, and actually, let's sort this out by forwards. So, Suzuki, 51 points. Tremendous. Cody Glass was a little bit disappointing, as was Roach, but that's not bad. It's not bad. Carpenter, 25 points for bottom 6 guy. I'll take it. Alex Tuck. Yikes. He doesn't have it. Power forwards never seem to sim well, and that continues. Cody Eakin was okay. A little bit disappointing for him. Robertson had 7 points in 32 games, 6 for Stelio, 5 for Dylan Dubé. So it's not as if they had massive point totals once they stepped into the lineup. And of course, defensively, Hamilton and Yossi killed it. Theodore was all right. Braunstrom was okay. Overall, though, not a bad look. And then goaltending-wise, Robin Leonard with a 921, a 924 for Malcolm Subban. And then Vladar has 2 appearances, and he was fucking phenomenal. Lights out Daniel Vladar. Which, off topic, but real hockey talk for a second. People are like, the Bruins need a project goaltender. Dan Vladar. Do not overlook Dan Vladar in real life. Don't do it. Don't do it. He has the chance to be a very solid NHL starter. Mark my words on that. Don't know why I went to Boston. Meant to go to the entire league. Steven Stamkos, the only 100-point getter, finished with 105 goals scoring wise. 2 players at 50, Kane and Tarasenko. Dwyer, top 5, tied with John Tavares. There you go. It's a pretty good sign. Tate Dwyer. Not too bad. Rookie scoring wise, Hudson Adamski or Sam Steele. One or the other. I'd give it to Adamski based off the 31 goals. One or the other will win the Calder. Although Boqvist, 67 points as a defenseman. Dwyer had a good season. It's just wasn't meant to be. Had he not been injured, I think he could have won it. I really do. I think he could have won it had he not been injured. And with that, we pretty much have our full season recap. So the only thing left to do is to set up the lines. Which, I'm not saying drop Alex Tuck, but might not be the worst idea I've ever heard. Still having him on the third line might be okay. Dylan Dubé. Carpenter again, though, 13 goals. Ryan Carpenter, congratulations. You're at least playing as I would prefer you to play. So 6 points for Stelio, 7 for Robertson. Granted, we could just have, maybe we do something like that for the third line and just have the youthful fourth line. We have options, and I'm sure the popular opinion here is going to be just having an all-out top line, which we probably will, of Panarin, Carlson, and Dwyer. And as far as the second line goes, who actually has the best face-offs? It's Cody Glass. It's not a bad-looking team. It's not a great team, but it's not a bad-looking team. I think we'll just have Yossi and Hamilton together. Why the hell not? Theodore and Haig works for me. Braunstrom and Woo. Let's do it. And goaltending-wise, Subban and Vladar. Let me know what you guys think over any potential changes to that. Let me know as well what you would do power play-wise. Would we just go with the top 6? That I'm sure that would be the common opinion. Although, in fairness, that is what our power play has been. So let me know what you would change about that. I'm sure the personnel, at the very least, would remain the same. We are going to end it here for now, because I do want your opinion on that as well. Just what do you think of how this has turned out? Season 4, division title. In the next round, I don't even know who the hell we're playing yet. Let's get that confirmation. In the next round, the first round, we're playing Winnipeg with home ice advantage. Can we somehow, with this weaker team and an injured goaltender, snap the streak and make it out of the first round? Let me know what the hell is this season, is this team, is this game? And also, draft pick wise, in case we face a quick first round exit, confirm, are we going for the franchise? Let me know. Actually, in fairness, here, you got some homework to do, okay? Number 1, and I want you to number these too. Number 1, your opinions on the episode, the strategy of not trading away, which again, I listened to the people on that. I'm not saying that's what I would have done, but it's worked out okay. We're in the playoffs. We have draft picks. We're good. So your opinion on how the season's gone, me re-signing Carlson and Hamilton, knowing that we're probably going to trade them. What do we look to do at the draft? Do we trade for the franchise? Do we look to trade away Yossi, Panarin, and Hamilton if we end up at the draft in the next episode? All of that, let me know. I want your input as much as possible as we help shape this series and hopefully, inevitably, build a championship-winning team. You know the deal. Support the video, support the channel, description, and all that happy, fun stuff. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.